Hey guys, Corey here, and today I finally have for you another deck list slash review. I haven't done one of these in a few weeks, mainly because I either haven't got around to it, haven't had enough time with school and stuff, but finally doing one for you today, and we have Metagross GX. And I know what you're thinking, you're already thinking, Corey, this when it came out, it was like, what's this doing, it's rubbish. Then it kind of saw a bit of play, but now surely it's not that good, is it? And that's where I think there's a lot of skepticism about this deck. I think it is a very good deck. I've been messing about with it for a few weeks, and I honestly think it deserves to have its own deck list done for it. So starting off, we have 4 Beldums, 2 Metangs, 4 Metagross GX, 3 Tapu Leles, and 1 Alolan Vulpix. And I already know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Curry, this hasn't got that many Pokemon in it, has it? And to be honest, it doesn't. It just has this standard Metagross line that you'll see in most evolution decks, 4-2-4, and I'll get on to why that is later. You've got your 3 Tapu Leles for drawing your supporters, your Brigettes, your Skylas, your Sycamores, etc. And then you've got this 1 lone copy of Alolan Vulpix. It is low. I was thinking about running a Tapu Koko in this deck. The promo with free retreat does 20 to everything for a DCE. I honestly think I should, because it helps hit higher numbers. But I just, to be honest, I haven't come up against a matchup so far where it's been vital. Let's get into it anyway. So we have Metagross GX. As you can see, one of the first things that stands out to most people is that there. 250 HP, that's a lot. I mean, Decidueye was massive, had 240. You've got Guzzlord's Basics got 210 in Crimson Invasion. God of War, I think, has got 230 if I'm correct, but nothing really. I don't think there's anything else that's 250 apart from maybe Incineroar. It is a big number to hit, and let's be honest, most things can't unless you've got a fire deck there, because Volcanion can do it, Ho can do it, but if you come up against them, you've basically lost anyway with most weakness matchups. So, its ability, Geotech System. Once during your turn, before you attack, you may attach a Psychic or Steel Energy card from your discard pile to your active Pokemon. This is really good. The second attack, for 2 steel and a colourless, this Pokemon can't use Giga Hammer during your next turn, and it does 150. So it's similar to Volk in that respect, I guess. You're attacking for a lot of damage, and then you can't attack during your next turn, but there's ways around it. You can. The main thing that you want to do is you want to have 3 of these Metagrosses up at once, and we use a lot of resources to do that, but it's worth it. So you've got 3 of these up, and you attack with Giga Hammer. Next turn, you retreat for 3 energy. It's a 3 energy retreat cost. And then use all 3 of your Geotechs to put them all straight back onto the Metagross. And that's basically the cycle you carry on. And it hits for 150. With a choice band, you've got to remember it hits for 180, which is a very important number, let's be honest. It can hit Volks for knockouts. It can hit Drampers, your Tapu Bulus. It hits a lot for knockout. And that's very good about it. And it can survive as well, that's the main point of it. It's got 250 HP, it can survive being able to 2-hit something. They probably can't take it out before. Another thing to note, it's got a resistance to Psychic, which means it does fairly okay against your Garbodors, although it does use a lot of resources in the first place. And that was Metagross. Next charge is standard Tapu Lele, Wonder Tag. First turn, you've got the standard Brigette to get all your Beldums and Vulpix down. And then from then on, you've got the access of them to get a Sycamore if you're struggling, or an N, or something like that, just to really help you in these tough situations. And then Vulpix is kind of important in this deck. Metagross is pretty clunky, it's a stage 2, it takes a lot of things to get it up and running. So a 0 energy attack, such as Beacon, that really helps. You can get any 2 Pokemon, whether it be 2 Metangs, a Metagross, 2 Beldums, anything like that. It's really good for that. Now let's move on to the trainers. We have 4 Professor Sycamores, 4 I'm sorry that they're all different art, 3 Guzmas, 2 Brigettes, and 2 Skylas. Let's make room up here. Oh. We have 4 Ultra Balls, 1 Heavy Ball, 4 Rare Candies, 3 Field Blowers, 4 Choice Bands, 2 Max Potions, and a Rescue Stretcher. So this here, your 4 Sycamores, 4 Ends, and 3 Guzmas is pretty much the standard at the moment. That's what everybody is doing. You need the Ends now because you can't just throw away your supporters and get them back with Versus Seekers. So you run 4 Ends and 4 Sycamores, because Sycamore, let's be honest, it's one of the best supporters in the format at the moment. I don't think any deck doesn't use Sycamore. And again, the 3 Guzmas, just to drag out something weak on your opponent's side, or something that you can stall maybe. Just, you know, you've got options there, and you can also switch to use that Giga Hammer attack again. 2 Brigettes, obviously I've said it's important. You get 3 basic Pokemon, so Beldums and Vulpix mainly you're going to get. You won't be getting any Tapu Lele because it goes straight onto your bench. And we run 2 of them mainly for consistency. I mean, if your Brigitte's prized, it does take a lot to get up all your Metagrosses up and running, so they're there. Skyla is a fairly new card to the meta. It's been out since Boundaries Crossed, I think, but it's only recently coming into the proper meta. You search your deck for a trainer card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck afterwards. And as you can see from down here and there, there's a lot of item cards to use. Your Rare Candies to evolve your Beldum straight into Metagross, your Max Potions, your Choice Bands, your Ultra Balls. There's a lot to do with just your items that you can play straight from going from Skyla. So we have 4 Ultra Balls, standard in every single deck, like I said. You're just discarding 2 cards, Energy maybe, to use that Geotech Systems ability. And then you're just searching your deck for a Pokemon, your Metagrosses, your Metangs, your Beldums, what have you. Heavy Ball is a good one to maybe tech in there. For you search your deck for a Pokemon with a retreat cost of 3 or more. So Metagross and Metang both have a retreat cost of 3. So you can get either one of them. 4 Rare Candies, fairly self-explanatory. It can really help to accelerate the evolution of your Metagrosses. And it's just there for speed, and that's all I can say about it really. It's self-explanatory. You evolve your basic straight up into a stage 2. 3 Field Blowers, and this may seem heavy. Most decks run 1, maybe 2. The reason Metagross runs 3 is you are relying on that ability, that Geotech system. And if they have a Garbotoxin Garbodor there with a tool on it, you have not got access to that. So you need 3, because otherwise you're just attacking for 150 every 2 turns. There's no hope of retreating out of it and setting up something else, because that'll take 3 turns. It's very long-winded unless you have the ability, and that's why we run 3 Field Blowers. 4 Choice Band is the only tool card we're running, and that's mainly just down to the fact that you can hit for 180, and that's pretty much the magic number with this. You don't need Float Stones because you can just retreat and then use Geotech Systems, and you don't need any other items like Fighting Fury Belts because Metagross is in evolution. 2 Max Potions, really good in this deck, Sorry about that, the video stopped recording, but like I was saying, these Max Potions either can retreat for 3 energy, and then it's heal all the damage they've done to your Metagross, and it can rack up quite a substantial amount. I'm pretty sure I've been in a game before where they've hit me for 240 damage, and I've just Max Potioned out of it. It's that simple. And this Rescue Stretcher here, it's just to get your Metagrosses back into your deck mainly. You want to have more than 1 Metagross at a time, 2 or 3, maybe even 4. And if they knock it out, you just use this to get it all back into your deck or hand. One thing I forgot to mention before was Metagross is GX attack. Algorithm GX. You search your deck for any 5 cards and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. It is situational to say the least. You think Drampa GX's big wheel's bad, you can just end it down. It's even worse if you get end while using algorithm. But if they can't end you, you've basically won the game. You can get your rare candies, Metagrosses, max potions, choice bands, ultra balls, anything you need to fully set up the next turn, you can get with algorithm. It's basically Sylveon GX's attack, but twice over. It's very impressive. And that is all the trainer cards. I'll put these away. Another thing to note about Metagross is its speed once you've got it set up. It may seem slow to set it all up. You can see the amount of items are running to do that, but it's very profitable once you do, just due to the tremendous speed, just every single turn hitting for 150 or 180 and just barraging them with damage. Right, onto the basic energy. We run 8 metal energy and 4 psychic energy. Geotech system can get psychic or steel energy, so why not take advantage of that? We run twice as much steel energy as we do psychic because Giga Hammer uses 2 steel and 1 psychic. And the psychic energy as well can help with Tapu Lele if it comes down to it and you need to use Tapu Cure. You've got that option there. You may as well take advantage of that rather than just running all steel energy. You don't run any DCs or Rainbow because you just don't need them. It's just your Metagrosses you're attacking with. Thank you for watching the deck list. I will now show you a little game. Right, so here we are after many weeks of me not doing a deck review. In fact, it's been way too long because I recorded the gameplay in the deck list for Metagross GX a month ago actually, which is kind of bad on my part, but I do have the excuse of me having my mock exams for my GCSEs for the past 2 weeks, so I've just been really focusing on them. I did the Zoroark GX box because I had a bit of time in the afternoon, but I didn't really have time to edit this video and put everything together. So you can just sit back and watch this, and I'll go over a few changes. I suppose in a good way it is good that it was a while ago, because there are a lot of changes to that I've made and that I can see happening in the future. So we'll have a look at those. If you do hear banging in the background, I'm sorry, there's a bit of construction work going on in the house at the moment. So you'll just have to let that slide on my part, I'm afraid. So the thing is with Metagross, and when I was playing it for the first 3 or 4 weeks of just pure Metagross, it was good because it could obviously tank these massive hits from the likes of Gardevoir and, Glisspod can do massive damage when it wants to, Espeon GX, Garbodor. It can generally survive for 1 or 2 hits of these really high damage Pokemon, and that was really good, but the only problem was it could not deal out the same. It could only deal out this cap to 180 damage. It isn't like Volcanion where you can increase and do all this massive damage. It was just really a case of retreating into a full health Metagross where you try and scramble to find that max potion and then hitting again for a high number. But so I've been testing it out a bit, and it might seem a bit clunky, but it's really worked well for me. Like I came 3rd in the local league challenge. I've won my LGS game tournament at Harlequins quite a few times with this deck, and it's the addition of Solgaleo GX really helps out in this list. If you don't know, Solgaleo GX is from Sun and Moon base set. It can hit for 230 damage, and for 2 steel and a colourless energy, and you just discard all the energy. And its ability as well, Ultra Road, means you can switch your bench and your active. And it has so much synergy. Like, it takes a bit more work, like maybe 1 or 2 turns extra to get everything out than it would have done with pure Metagross. But it really does help with the switching around and hitting for those high numbers. It's very versatile. I also run as a little bit of a spicy tech, Lunala from Guardians Rising, because that can obviously evolve from Cosmog and Cosmoem, and it's a psychic that its first attack, if you don't know, it's the non-GX, it's a 1 prize card attacker. Its first attack does 40 times the amount of psychic energy attached to it, so anything that's weak to psychic, it really gets punished by it, because it can hit for, say if you've got 4 psychic energy on, that's 160 times 2, that's knocking out anything psychic, really. With generally 2 psychic energy in a choice band can knock out anything psychic. Really helps as well in the Crimson Invasion format with Buzzwole GX, which I am planning on doing a deck list, but don't hold me to that, because I've been trying out a few things at the moment. So I'm just testing my options a bit. I'm currently trying out a bit of a weird deck that I've just thought of, Decidueye Silvally, seeing how that runs, seeing what it does, seeing if I can get it to work, because I've not really seen anyone trying it, so I'm just seeing if it really works at all, if not well. So yeah, this game's going, I forgot to mention, I'm going against Tapu Lele GX, which is falling out of favour now, but was still pretty good when I recorded this video. That's how old this is. And I think there's one card that I need to talk about. Well, there's lots of cards. Metal is just, God of War's basically getting punished by Pokemon Company. Nobody really knows why, because the amount of metal that's getting released and the high damage and the versatility of the new cards is kind of ridiculous, if I'm being honest. First of all, you've got Kartana from Crimson Invasion, and that could be a tech in Solgaleo Metagross. I choose not to run it in my own Solgaleo list of it, just because I don't feel it's needed, but you can discard special energy with it, and you can use its GX attack to prevent a 7 prize card game, really. You can just take a prize card for the GX attack, but I don't run it because obviously it is a GX move, and I don't really see the point of wasting a space on this, especially in a high capacity deck like Solgaleo Metagross, where you need the tools. And but there's this Magnezone coming out in a future set. It works a lot like the Magnezone from Breakthrough with its ability. It's a stage 2, but its ability is you can place as much metal energy down onto your Pokemon as you want. So it really helps for getting the energy down. I don't know how well it will work in metal decks, but we'll obviously see, won't we? There's also there's a stadium I should talk about, where, if I can correctly remember this, once during your turn you may put 2 metal energy from your discard pile into your hand, which I don't think will work well with Metagross at all, because of you've already got the Geotech system ability, so you need it in the discard pile per se. But one I need to talk about, and you might have seen it, is the new Solgaleo GX coming out in Crimson Prism, or Ultra Prism, I think the set's called. And its ability is basically all your Pokemon in play don't have weakness, which is kind of ridiculous, because you can run that with Solgaleo GX, and if you come up, like, as a random tech card, and if you come up against a fire deck, you put that down and you're doing good. The only way they can stop it is by killing the Solgaleo GX, and because it's got 250 HP, they're going to struggle, really. When it's not got weakness, it's kind of a loss against fire decks. And obviously fire decks don't run ability lock, so you've got that upper hand as well. So this game that's going on here, I've not really talked about it yet. So on my side of the board, I've already got 3 Metagross GX set up. My opponent's got 1 Tapu Lele fully set up, but he's not got a Vikavolt yet. He's got a Eligible. So there's not much going on there. If I make this full screen, because I am watching this on my laptop, I will be able to tell you more about it. Let's do this. Right, so in Metagross, the psychic energy seems a bit lackluster, because obviously you can use it on the Lunala, but it's kind of situational. Like, Lunala is good, don't get me wrong, but it feels like the Psychic Energy can easily be replaced for Steel Energy. Like, if you look at the moment, on that Metagross at the bench, there's literally only a Psychic Energy in it, because that's all I've been drawing, really. So it's you're forced into this situation where it's difficult, because you can't use that Psychic Energy effectively enough. I mean, you can use Algorithm, but that's about it. But I do get that Metagross set up, and I take the knockout on the Grubbin, taking my first prize card of the game. And Metagross, you can see it functions really well in this sort of matchup where you can take the one hits on everything. You can just take a one hit, retreat, get the energy back, take a one hit, retreat, get the energy back. And that's really good, but I just think it works better with Solgaleo, where you have the option to retreat, so you can use Geotech again, or you can simply use Ultra Road if you have the energy available to you, because Ultra Road doesn't make retreat cost 0, it gives you the option to switch, and that's amazing, because you can choose to retreat, and then Ultra Road, and then Geotech, whatever you want. One thing I've got to say is, I did not get as many Metagross set up when I was running Solgaleo, and that'll come naturally, you know. You are not always going to get 3 Metagross, 2 Solgaleo out with a Tapu Lele, maybe, because you need Tapu Leles and Vulpixes, and in most matchups at the moment, they're just going to be sitting there on the bench for the most of the game, and you can't really do anything about them. So, I want to kind of evaluate the current meta, because when I'm recording this audio, not the deck list, the audio, London Internationals happened, like, last week, and there was so many new decks, it was unbelievable. Like, you didn't really expect it with Crimson Invasion, because it kind of seemed like a pretty poor set, but it did offer so much more than people could imagine, really. It was kind of ridiculous. So, there's obviously Buzzwole. I might do a separate video just going over Buzzwole. Not necessarily a deck list, but it's such a good card, just maybe a short video. I'll have a think about that. It would make up for the fact that I've not recorded a deck list in ages, but I might just go over Buzzwole in a separate video. But that works well with so many things. You've got Buzzwole Garbodor, which Andrew Mahone from Derium's Pokemon has been doing a video on. He did a deck list on it, and pretty sure he played it for a while. There's Zoroark Buzzwole, which my friend plays. There's Buzzwole Lycanroc is really good, and then just straight Buzzwole with Regirocks and Zygardes, just high damage, really works. And I am actually thinking about doing a video on it separately, if not a deck list. The other main card, I'd say, from Crimson Invasion was the Silvally GX, and it is a very good card. I only just realised the other day when I looked at it how good a card it actually was. I mean, for this, for its ability, for one, your basic Pokemon don't have a retreat cost, so you don't need to run Tapu Kokos and the like in Silvally decks, and because you don't need a free retreater, because if you have the Silvally GX out, you can just retreat into it, maybe put Tapu Lele up as the active if something gets knocked out, and then take advantage of the ability. It's called Gyro Unit, I think. Take advantage of that ability to get your Tapu Lele out of the active and go into whatever you may be partnering Silvally is. But this is the thing, it's got so many possibilities. I know Silvally Steel did really well at the London Internats. It ran with stuff like Celesteela, I think it ran with, and McGinnett. Could be wrong on that, but it seems like that would happen. It's because it only takes colorless energies, you know what I mean? And you're attacking for 120 and attaching a basic energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. So it just works in so many decks. Like, you could name a current Pokemon GX, and it could probably work in a deck, and that's not, you know, me exaggerating. It is so versatile in that way. It's like kind of like how Drampa worked. There was Drampa Zoroark, Drampa Garb, different things like that. You could tech Drampa into quite a few decks and it would work because of its color. Because it's colorless. It's just that's how colorless Pokemon tend to go. And then the last card I'd like to evaluate for a little bit is Zoroark GX. So Zoroark GX, it's a stage 1. Its ability is trade. I might do a video on Zoroark separately as well, actually. So its ability trade, you can obviously discard and draw 2, and its attack does, for double colours, it does 20 times the amount of your Pokemon in play, I believe. But again, it's because it's a colourless attack. Not only can you run it in a deck for its ability, you can also use it as an attacker in decks. It doesn't hit for high enough damage by any means to knock one-shot Pokemon, but it does the job. It can 2-hit, maybe 3-hit higher HP Pokemon. I know Tord Reklev won the London International Championships with Zoroark Golisopod, because Golisopod already runs double colourless energy, so why not just pair it with Zoroark, you know what I mean? And it works. That's at the end of the day, it works, so why wouldn't you run it? So I am probably going to do another review on that. I mean, I've got a League Cup coming up next weekend that I'm going to. I don't know what I'll be playing then, but I'm sure that it will be something to do with either Buzzwole or Zoroark, maybe Silvally. I mean, I've been testing out the Decidueye Silvally, like I've already said. So, that is always an option. And yeah, so lots of ideas coming up. Now that I've finished my exams, I should be able to get started on progressing a lot more with it. Yeah, so I'll just carry on with this game, looking at this game. So the flare is not flare. The glare is pretty bad on this video, but hopefully you can see. I took the knockout on his Tapu Bulu with the Tapu Lele, which is pretty funny because it meant I didn't have to risk one of my Metagrosses getting killed. And that puts me down to one prize card left, which is good. And my opponent's forced into a bad situation here where all he's got is that Tapu Koko could spread the damage, and he's just gone for the spread damage, and I think this will be the end here, because if I can see an energy in my discard, I just retreat, put Metagross up, and that's already got the energy on, so that's the game. That's game 1, 1-0 to Metagross. You can see how it works here, with the being able to soak in hits, and whenever I play it at my local league on Wednesdays, that is one of the comments people say. They're just like, how? I can't knock it out. You know, it's difficult. It's like, that 250 health is so important, because generally in Pokemon you hit in multiples of 30, so you hit for 60, you can hit for 120 with like Golisopod and Zoroark and stuff. The Choice Band hits for plus 30, you know, and so I've been hit for 240 damage in one turn, but there's no way you can hit for 250. I mean, Gardevoir might be able to do it, but Gardevoir's suffering as a result of the weakness. So there's just bad times when you're trying to one-hit KO a Metagross. I reckon the best way to overcome Metagross, if you ever play it in a league or online or something like that, is just chip away at it, you know? Snipe these Beldums really early on, and that's what I need to talk about Buzzwole, actually. Snipe them Beldums and the Cosmogs and whatever really early on, so they're out of the game. And don't basically don't let them get into a Metagross. You know, Espeon EX really counters Metagross. It's unbelievable. I played out of all the games I played with Metagross, I think out of 20 games that I played with it, where it was just straight Metagross, I think I had about, I'd say 6 losses, and 4 of them were to decks that had Espeon EX in it. So you can see how it does really hurt you, especially if you use Rare Candy, because it can just de-evolve everything you own, and then you're on the backhand straight away, because you can't use Rare Candies again unless you're in like Puzzler Times or something, which you just don't in Metagross because you don't have the room. And you might be able to hear a bit of buzzing in the background again. I'm sorry about that. It's possibly been going on this whole video, and I've just not realised. Again, I am sorry about that. And here it is, the second game. Let's have a look at this. So my opponent went with the Tapu Koko in the active, attached a Choice Band and Electric Energy. Pretty brave choice, but the hand might be a bit lacking. And that is a problem. Whenever you play Brigette, as a little advice, you always want to make sure you have a play for the next turn. You never want to Brigette if you don't have a draw support in your hand, like an N or a Sycamore, because then you could be struggling. So I have played a Brigette, I've got a Beldum in the active, and I Brigetted for 2 Beldums and a Vulpix, I think, yep. And that's pretty standard in this straight Metagross list. I mean, when you come to playing it, pairing it with stuff like Solgaleo, you've got more options. But for now, it's just getting your Beldums out really, and one Vulpix to help you set up quicker. So I passed straight away to my opponent, who played an N after evolving to a Charge Bug, I think. Let's see what they're going to do now. I forgot to mention, you probably noticed, I've sped up this video quite a bit, because the last videos they were well running over, like, an hour, the videos, or getting close to an hour. So the length of this video should be about 40 minutes, hopefully. Because I know a lot of people don't have time. That's why I put the deck list in the description of my videos, because if you just want to have a quick look, watch the deck list, and then get the deck list to maybe test, it's better than sitting through an hour video. And after all, this is just a game. I know that it kind of gives you an idea of how the deck works and what synergy is there, but you don't have to watch the game at the end of the day, do you? You really want the deck list, and that's why I've sped up the game, just so it saves time for people. Now, that is a good card, of that Tapu Koko. It's just really good in so many decks. It really is. The free retreat and then just spreading that damage. It can really stack up quickly. So I do actually geotech the Metal Energy there onto my Vulpix as a guaranteed retreat, and then I use Beacon to grab a Metagross and decide against the Tapu Lele and go for the Metang. So I think I must have a draw spot, or at least a way to get a draw spot in my hand. Yeah, as you can see, I already have a Sycamore, so there's not really any point of going for the Tapu Lele when I can just go for stuff that helps me get set up faster. So my opponent plays Skyla, going for the Ultra Ball. They want this Vikavolt out, basically. So they get rid of the Grass Energy. And personally, I'd get rid of the Choice Bands, because they really don't help against Metagross. Like, you can't one-hit it. Choice Bands are there to help you one-hit it. But with the numbers you're hitting with Tapu Bulu, you can two-hit it pretty easily, but you're never going to be able to one-hit with Bulu against Metagross. There's very few things that actually can. So there you can see he uses Strong Charge to attach 2 energy to the Tapu Bulu, and then spreads the damage with Koko. I evolve to Metagross there, evolve to Metang, and then I am going to attach that Steel Energy. I don't think I will waste it. Yep, there it is. Potown, that's another one. Potown from Burning Shadows hurts Metagross, because if they've got an Espeon EX, they can just keep de-evolving you. You're forced to evolve, otherwise your things are going to die, and then you get more damage on you, because you get the 30 damage from Potown, and then you de-evolve again and you die, and it forces you into a nasty situation. And that is another one of the reasons why you play 3 Field Blowers in Metagross, not only for the abilities, but for stadiums that hurt you pretty badly. You need to get rid of them. So I Ultra Ball there for another Beldum. I am sorry about the glare, there's not really anything I could do. I normally record in my game shop, but I recorded this somewhere else just for convenience. So there's the retreat into the Metagross, and this is where the Tapu Koko is going down. I'm not letting it carry on spreading damage, that would be stupid. So there is 3 energy on the Metagross, and I'm hitting for 150 to take the knockout there and take my first prize card. So my opponent promotes the Bulu and uses the Energy Recycler to get those 3 energy back. They will be looking into using that Strong Charge, I do imagine. Yep, they are doing that now, I believe. They're going to get that energy onto Bulu to be able to use it to attack, and then put the electric energy either onto the Lele for the retreat, or probably just onto the Bulu. Oh no, they use Lele, sorry, for Kukui. That would mean that if they get a Choice Band, yeah, that actually means if they're able to get Choice Band from Kukui, they're able to knock out the Metagross with the second attack with the Choice Band, because then you're doing 180 plus 30, which is 210, plus 20, which is 230, which would knock out. And did he get the Choice Band? I can't see. I don't think he did, so he just settles for 200 damage, exactly. As you can see now, Metagross has got a lot of damage on it. It's so much damage. And this is where your Metagross really shines, in soaking up those hits and being able to handle it like a champ. And then you can just max potion and really annoy your opponent. I think is that one in my... No, it's a rare candy, doesn't matter. That would have been pretty sick. Yeah, so... Oh, it was a max potion, so all of it's gone. That's just heartbreaking to see. Heartbreaking for my opponent to see. It's just not nice at the end of the day. I'd say the worst matchup for Metagross, in my opinion, is Trashalanche. Espeon. Because Espeon has that 200 HP, which you can't hit with Metagross, unfortunately. And it can also confuse you, which hurts. Even though you've got that resistance to Psychic. Metagross uses so many items like Rare Candy and Max Potion, Ultra Balls, Heavy Balls, etc. to get your resources out, so Garbodor can kind of punish that late on in the game. And then there is the Potowns, which I've mentioned, can just stack, and and a lot of the lists run Espeon EX. It's really difficult to overcome, especially when you're just taking knockouts on one prize attackers. But you can be smart about it and try and play around it, but most of the time you've got to try and just play smart, basically, like not rush into the rare candies when you know your opponent might have an Espeon EX, if you know what I mean. And that is something to worry about in the meta at the moment. If you are playing an evolution deck, especially stage 2s, your opponent could always be running that Espeon EX, and that could harm you. So my opponent here has promoted a new Bulu and put 2 energy on it with strong charge. They've got an energy in the hand they could attach. Or they might have already done so, I don't know. Taking a long time to think about it. They already attached, so they are just going to pass. I Field Blow away that Float Stone so I can be able to trap that Vikavolt in the active if I need to. And I Ultra Ball away Rare Candy and Tapu Lele. I'm guessing I'm going for this Metagross because I already have a Metang in play. Yep, there it is. And I'm going to be... Oh, a Rare Candy actually. Oh yeah, because then, yeah, if I've got it with me, why not? So what else do I have to use? I retreat. And now, of course, I have 3 Metagross set up. So I can literally retreat for 3 energy and then Geotech them all back up, which is kind of funny. And I take 2 prize cards. So it does look here like it's coming to the end. There's not much more my opponent can do. They've not got anything set up. They're attaching the grass energies to the Vikavolt. I'm pretty sure they've accepted defeat at this point because there's nothing they can do. Let's be honest. First game was a bit closer, but second game I've just managed to sweep them with Metagross. They managed to do a massive amount of damage. I think 220 damage to my Metagross GX earlier, and the Max Potion just makes them cry. You know what I mean? Let's see what they decide to do. Yep, they cut there, they pass. I retreat into a Metagross and attach it all back on for the knockout and take my last prize card. So that's it, guys. That's all I can say, and there's literally good timing because drilling has just started happening in the background. So that is the end of the game. I hope you all enjoyed. See you next time. I will have another video, I promise.